Back at it again, and Tucker Carlson is the topic of discussion today. He recently gave a speech where he said something that was very interesting. Well, I mean, he said a lot of things that were very interesting, but we're going to be talking about one of the things that he said that I actually really agree with. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new. If you would like to help me out even further with this YouTube algorithm too, watch this video to the very end. Helps out tremendously. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, let's dive in.
To reason in the order. It's not just that it's nice to say what you think and that it's essential to human dignity to be able to express what you really believe, though that is true. You cannot be a full citizen if you can't say what you think. You are instead a slave. If you're not allowed to say what you think, you are not a citizen, you are a slave. It's that simple. And you don't need physical shackles because you have them in your head already. So that is all true. But that's not why they're trying to control what you say. They're trying to control what you say because they know that if you say it, nothing will ever be the same. And this is exactly why they hate Trump. And it's not an endorsement of Trump, but it's just interesting since I've known, I've watched the whole Trump saga and I've had various feelings at various times. I've been incredibly frustrated by Trump because honestly, who couldn't be? And then other times I've been totally inspired and excited. But the whole time I'm watching Trump, I'm thinking to myself, the core question which no one ever asks, which is, why do they hate him so much?
Bingo. Comment below. Why do you guys think the establishment hates Trump so much? Let me know in the comment section. Because it's a very important question. And I found myself asking myself that question at one point in time. Why do they hate him so much? And, I've brought this up in conversations with folks, on the left stop and really think about this for a second. Why do they hate this one man so much? Why did they decide he's the guy that they're going to go after and attack viciously and completely down him in a bad way? Why is he the guy? Why not somebody else? Anybody else? And and one of the things that, comes up, oh, he's a dictator. He wants to take over and be president until the end and blah, 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 blah. And of course, they try to attack Trump and say he's a terrible person and this and that. Isn't it a democracy? Shouldn't the people decide whether or not they want Trump in office? I thought y'all like democracy. You got to always bring that up, right? Because they always talk about democracy, even though we live in a constitutional republic. But they always bring that up, so I throw it back at them. What about a democracy, though? Shouldn't the people decide? Just saying. If he's such a terrible person, it's so unpopular, why do they not want him on the ballot then? Shouldn't they just easily defeat him, in the poll? In the election? Just saying. But it's a very important question, and I think Tucker answers gives one of the reasons why he is very unpopular. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, please.
Honestly, why do they hate Trump so much? It's the talking. It's not because Trump's program is so radical. Are you joking? If this were 1985, he'd be like a center-left liberal. It's not radical at all. That's fascism? Are you joking? No, it has nothing to do with what he does. It has everything to do with the fact that for whatever reason, his brain is not entirely controlled by the people in charge.
Bingo.
And because he's not entirely controlled, well, first of all, it tells you that everybody else is entirely controlled. If, Trump is the one they hate the most, what did Trump do wrong? You could say, oh, well, he's orange or whatever. Okay, fine. But, has he really committed a crime so severe that we should send him to prison for the rest of his life? That's insane. And half the Republicans in Washington, probably closer to about 95%, would be very psyched if he went to prison for the rest of his life. So why is that?
That's also a big problem as well. Y'all know what to do next election. That is absolutely insane that we have Republicans who are just sitting on the sideline, just sitting on their hands, doing absolutely nothing. Where's Lindsey Graham? Has anybody heard from him? Anybody? Mitch McConnell? He's supposed to be the leader. Anybody? Anybody? He's just not. I mean, obviously, we know what Mitch McConnell is. I mean, come on. But to my point, there are a lot of folks, a lot of Republicans who claim to be staunch Republicans who clearly aren't. I mean, it's clear as day. You'd have to be as blind as a bat to not see it. I mean, literally, you'd have to be as blind as a bat to not see these Republicans that we elected to put in office to stand for us as Republicans. They're not Republicans. They're not. It's as clear as day to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a lunatic. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I could be crazy. Okay? Hey, if I ever start saying some crazy bozo stuff, y'all let me know. Reel me back in. Don't let me go off the deep end, all right? Reel me back in. Hey, come on, Rich. Hey, come on, Rich. You going off the deep end. Let's reel you back in. So let me know. Let me know. Because I feel like Tucker is right. It's probably closer to 95% of Republicans that we elected to be Republicans for us, to represent us as Republicans. They're not really Republicans. 95%. The only folks that I would actually consider Republicans are basically the people in the Freedom Caucus. Matt Gaetz and the crew, Byron Donalds, Lauren Boebert, that crew. Everybody else, they can kick rocks. We need a whole new Republican Party. A whole new. We don't have to change the actual party, but the elected officials need to change. That's a fact. And I'm glad it's getting exposed now, because now we know what to do. Next election, weren't you the Republican that was sitting? Nope. Are you gonna sit on your hands the next time something like this happens, like he did? No? Okay, I'm voting for you. You know, it's that simple. It's that simple, right? We want real Republicans. But let's get back to this video. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you exactly why. I know, because I've watched this really carefully from Washington for his entire term, and then the subsequent 3 years. They hate Trump because they fear Trump. And they fear Trump not because of what he might do, but because what he might say. And at any moment, Trump might be autistic enough to tell the truth about what's actually happening. Whoa, wait, what's that? I was in D.C. when this started, and Trump had the greatest line I've ever heard. And no one even noticed it except me, because I spent my life in Washington, but he was having some debate, and somebody said something about NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, post-war, to prevent the Soviets from invading Western Europe. And Trump goes, "What's the point of NATO?" And I remember thinking, what a stupid question. What's the point of NATO? Everyone knows the point of NATO. It's to prevent the Soviets from invading Germany. But I was thinking, but there are no more Soviets. Huh? That ended in 1991. So, what is the point of NATO? That's actually, then I was thinking to myself, because I had been living in D.C., so I was, captured by the groupthink that does capture you if you live in a place long enough. Uh-huh. I remember my wife, who grew up outside Detroit, being like, why would anyone buy a Japanese car? That's insane.
I was there at one point. You know, I can attest to being in that groupthink. And you guys have watched the journey. I wasn't always on the right in mindset, in actions, right? I wasn't always on the right. Not at all. Not at all. There was one point in time where I didn't really like Trump. And then I came to the realization, hold on, why don't I like Trump? Is there an actual reason why? No, there really isn't. I've just been told to not like Trump. Do I really actually not like Trump? Let me look more into this guy. Let me figure out who this guy actually is. Let me look at some of the stuff he's actually done and what he did. Let me actually dig deeper into this Trump guy. Then I realized I actually like this guy. Wow. You know, it's a crazy realization when you come from the left and, you know, you slide over and you realize, you look back and you're like, man, how in the world was I standing over there? I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. You know what I mean? Oh, man, it is wild. It is wild. But I feel like there are a lot of people still on the left that are just like me. They just need to be presented the information in the right way. That's all. That's all it takes. Just present them the information in the right way. Don't be aggressive. Slowly ease it on them. Back off when they push back, right? Bring it back. You know what I mean? And boom. There you have it. Somebody from the left that moved to the right. It's that simple.
You know, I mean, she just grew up here. To this day, she would never have a foreign car. Like, what? They can't really be better. You know, you're a product of the world you live in. So I'd never thought of, what's the point of NATO? And Trump said that. And I remember thinking, well, that's an entirely fair question. I'm sure there's a good answer. Anybody? No one can answer it. And instead they attacked him like he was Hitler. And I remember thinking, like, why are you mad at him for asking what turns out to be a totally legitimate question? And maybe you've got a good answer. What is it? Shut up! Oh, shut up. That's your answer? Really? And it was that kind of thing. And it was the fear that he might say one of 1,000 things that you're not allowed to say, which is pretty much everything at this point. And by the way, I'll stop at this and take your hostile questions, but if you want to know, this is, and I'm being completely sincere, what's true?
Listen.
The true things are the things that you can't say.
Bingo.
I cannot remember the last time someone in public life.
If you want to know what's true, can you say it or not? And I talked about that before in a previous video. I don't remember what we were discussing, but I said that previously. You know, one of the things that I've come to realize is that the things that we're not allowed to say is actually the truth. When you start digging, at least in my humble opinion, right? Maybe I'm crazy. You know, I'm just the guy that makes videos, so don't take me as a scholar, okay? Maybe I'm a bozo, you know, complete lunatic. That's definitely possible, all right? But in my humble opinion, the true things are the things that are some of the true things are some of the things that we're not allowed to say. I like that that the clip ended with him saying that, because that is so profound. And you know, when you think about today's climate and you think about some of the things that we're not allowed to talk about or to say, really, you know, you really start scratching your head like, interesante. You know what I mean? So yeah, they don't like Trump because he has no filter. He has no filter. He will say whatever he wants to say. And, you know, I talked about this, I think it was last week probably, about how one of the things that, you know, I've kind of learned throughout this journey is that the left really doesn't have a good answer for most of the things that they do or say. You know, when I started this journey and I was just trying to figure out what the truth of everything is, and, you know, I'm listening to both sides. You guys can go back and watch those videos, right? You can go back and watch those videos are still right here on the channel from the very beginning, which I think it started with a Jordan Peterson video, which wasn't even political. I don't believe that video was even political at all, right? But then it turned into another Jordan Peterson video. Then it was a Thomas Sowell video, right? And then, you know, the snowball, so on and so on. I just found it interesting that Democrats never really had an answer. It's just always call your names, yell, scream, and shout, and storm away. And I'm like, hold on, wait a second. Wait a minute. I'm actually curious about the answer to that question. That's a legitimate question. Why are you calling this person names and yelling and screaming and, you know, storming off? Hence why I came up with, when the facts come out, they run. Because when Republicans start, you know, speaking facts, when they start, you know, giving the left all of these facts about things, they just get angry and storm off. And I'm like, hold on. Like, if you're right, you know, if the Democrat is right, why don't you just refute what the Republican is saying with more facts and statistics and evidence? Just refute it. I'm kind of leaning towards your side, but you're not helping me here. I go where the facts go, and right now the facts are on the right. So, like, I'm chilling over here for now, but I'm hoping that you got something. And every single time that I watch something like that, or that I watched a discussion, right, about something serious between the left and the right, the left just failed to create any type of good argument, or just didn't have any argument at all. It was always storm off or Trump is bad, Trump is terrible, yada. And I'm like, yo, that's not an answer. Give me a legitimate answer. And they never did. And so here we are. Here we are. But yeah, I just found that clip very, very interesting. Y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions on why you think Trump is hated by the establishment. And do you think Tucker was right? Let me know. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.